Beneath the glamour of Hollywood's golden era, behind the dazzling lights of classic cinema and vintage films, were secrets the studios desperately tried to bury. Audiences fell in love with the legends of the silver screen, never knowing the hidden affairs and forbidden romances shaping the world of movies. In an age when image was everything, love often came at a cost. From shocking betrayals to secret double lives, these stories didn't just scandalize, they rewrote the history of film itself. Welcome to the side of Hollywood they never wanted you to see. In the glamorous world of Hollywood's golden era, Jean Harlow and William Powell were a picture-perfect match. On paper, Harlow, the iconic blonde bombshell of classic cinema, captivated audiences with her bold beauty, while Powell, the suave star of countless vintage films, was every bit the gentleman. But behind the scenes, their romance was a well-guarded secret. Powell, twice divorced, hesitated to marry again despite his deep love for Harlow. They shared stolen moments, private gifts, and an unspoken bond hidden from the public eye. But tragedy struck when Harlow died suddenly at just 26, leaving Powell devastated. He arranged her burial, choosing the gown she once adored, a final act of love never spoken aloud. In a world where image ruled everything, Powell never publicly acknowledged their affair. Yet in the shadows of Hollywood's classic movies, their love became one of the most heartbreaking stories never told. But not all romances ended with quiet sorrow. Greta Garbo was the enigma of vintage Hollywood, mysterious and distant, but never far from the spotlight. After parting ways with her on-screen lover John Gilbert, Garbo became entangled in a bond with screenwriter Salka Viertel, a woman far from the standard starlet of classic cinema. Their connection went deeper than friendship. Salka, older and married, wasn't seen as beautiful by industry standards, yet Garbo championed her career. With Garbo's pull, Salka co-wrote the film Queen Christina, launching her into Hollywood's elite. But then came Mercedes D'Acosta, a bold writer who seduced Garbo during a secret getaway. Garbo played both sides, but it was Salka who held her heart. On Salka's 26th birthday, the two finally crossed the line from friends to lovers. It was a hidden love in a time where such truths were dangerous. While classic films kept their images pristine, their off-screen lives told a more daring story. And the next one? Even riskier. In the polished world of Hollywood movies, Anthony Perkins and Tab Hunter were dreamboats. But behind the charm and leading man smiles of golden-era cinema, they shared a secret too dangerous for the spotlight. Meeting in 1956 at the Chateau Marmont pool, their connection was instant. But in a time when being openly gay meant the end of a career, they lived a double life. Studios forced them to stage relationships with women for appearances, while privately they escaped to beach houses and quiet dinners. Tab, the all-American heartthrob of classic films, was warned his image would crumble if their secret got out. The pressure mounted. When Perkins landed a major film role Tab had originally played, the competition soured their romance. Fame and fear tore them apart. By the time they met again in 1985, it was too late. Their love, hidden beneath the surface of vintage cinema, had already become a silent casualty of Hollywood's image machine. Clark Gable was the king of Golden Age movies and Loretta Young the picture of grace in vintage Hollywood. But their story wasn't a glamorous romance. It was a dark secret buried beneath decades of silence. While filming Call of the Wild in 1935, the two grew close. Gable, married at the time, was known for his on-set charm, but Young later revealed that what happened on that train ride home wasn't consensual. Pregnant and terrified, she vanished from Hollywood to hide the truth. She gave birth to a daughter and arranged a secret adoption, only to adopt the child back later and raise her as her adopted daughter. Gable, meanwhile, denied everything, never offering support or recognition. It wasn't until decades later that Young's memoir revealed the painful truth. Behind the allure of classic cinema, this wasn't just scandal, it was survival. But in Hollywood, even survival came at a devastating cost. And there's more. To fans of classic film, Barbara Stanwyck and Robert Taylor were the ultimate Hollywood power couple. But their marriage was rumored to be more contract than connection. Many believe their union was orchestrated by the studio to boost box office appeal and hide deeper secrets. Taylor, a heartthrob of vintage cinema, had his own string of off-screen affairs. Stanwyck, fiercely independent and one of the highest-paid actresses of Hollywood's golden era, was often whispered to have romantic ties to women. Their image was tightly managed, red carpet smiles, coordinated interviews, the picture of elegance. But behind closed doors, they lived separate lives. Some say their bond was real, others claim it was pure performance. Whether out of love or self-preservation, they stayed together for over a decade until the illusion faded. Their story wasn't the fantasy of the silver screen, it was Hollywood, scripted and sold. And like many tales from this era, the truth was far messier than the movies. Ingrid Bergman was the sweetheart of Hollywood's golden era, adored for her roles in classic movies like Casablanca. On screen, she was purity and grace. But off-screen, her affair with Italian director Roberto Rossellini shattered that illusion. While still married to her first husband, Bergman began filming Stromboli with Rossellini and quickly became pregnant. In an era when morality mattered more than truth, the backlash was brutal. A U.S. senator labeled her a powerful influence for evil. Boycotts followed, and her films were banned across the country. Bergman fled to Europe, leaving behind not only Hollywood but also her young daughter. There, she married Rossellini and had 3 more children, including future actress Isabella Rossellini. Though her talent eventually brought her back to American cinema, her reputation never fully recovered. What began as a passionate love story turned into a cautionary tale about fame, judgment, and the price of independence in vintage Hollywood. And for one star, even royalty couldn't save her. Rita Hayworth, the ultimate love goddess of classic cinema, lived a life as dramatic as any Hollywood film. Her whirlwind marriage to director Orson Welles ended almost as quickly as it began. But that wasn't the end of her romantic saga. On a trip to the French Riviera, she caught the eye of Prince Ali Khan, a charismatic playboy with royal blood. Despite both being married, they dove into a passionate affair that made headlines around the world. Hayworth stunned the public by quitting movies to be with him, prompting Columbia Studios to sue her for breach of contract. British tabloids attacked her, calling her choices scandalous. But love didn't conquer all. The couple married, had a daughter, and then fell apart amid accusations of infidelity. Their bitter custody battle became tabloid fodder. In the world of vintage Hollywood, love stories rarely ended like in the films. For Hayworth, stepping off the silver screen led straight into a royal disaster. They were hailed as Hollywood's golden couple, stars of classic films like Guess Who's Coming to Dinner. But the love story of Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy may have been a carefully crafted illusion. According to Hollywood insider Scotty Bowers, their relationship was a front. Tracy was allegedly bisexual, while Hepburn, he claimed, was a lesbian. During the strict moral code of vintage cinema, image was everything, and truth was often hidden. Bowers even said Hepburn asked him to find her over 150 women over the years. Yet to the public, they were the perfect match. Supportive, loyal, inseparable. Hepburn never married, and despite Tracy's alcoholism and other affairs, she stayed by his side until his death. Whether it was deep friendship, complicated love, or pure fabrication, their bond was one of cinema's greatest mysteries. In the scripted world of Golden Era movies, their off-screen story blurred the line between loyalty and illusion, but some secrets are never fully uncovered. Liza Minnelli, daughter of Hollywood royalty, seemed to find love in Peter Allen, a rising singer and favorite of her legendary mother, Judy Garland. But their marriage, straight out of a movie, turned into a surreal drama the moment it began. On their wedding night, Minnelli walked in on Allen in bed with another man. The shocking revelation hit hard, but in the polished world of classic cinema, appearances had to be kept. Liza carried on, even starting her own affair with music producer Rex Kramer while filming Cabaret. The tension was electric. Her relationship with Allen spiraled, especially when it emerged he had also been involved with Minnelli's stepfather. The betrayal was layered, deep, and devastating. Their divorce in 1974 closed the chapter on one of vintage Hollywood's most twisted romances. In an industry built on fantasy, theirs was a raw and real heartbreak, proving that in Golden Era films, the drama off-screen often rivaled what audiences saw in theaters. Charlie Chaplin was more than a legend. He was the face of early Hollywood cinema. But even the silent era wasn't silent about scandal. At 35, Chaplin became romantically involved with 16-year-old Lita Grey, a teenage actress working on one of his films. When she became pregnant, the situation turned explosive. To avoid jail time and protect his image, Chaplin secretly married her in Mexico. The marriage was rocky from the start. Lita later accused him of controlling behavior and emotional abuse. By 1927, their divorce became a media circus, filled with sordid details and public shame. Chaplin's once pristine image took a hit, and the press devoured every salacious accusation. Even in the infancy of vintage Hollywood, secrets didn't stay buried for long. The scandal nearly destroyed his career and marked one of the first major downfalls of a movie icon. In an age before paparazzi, the silent screen still had plenty to say, especially about the cost of crossing the line. Behind the glamour of Hollywood's golden era, these hidden affairs reveal the raw, unfiltered truth behind classic cinema. These weren't just love stories. They were secrets that reshaped the world of vintage films and forever changed the legends we thought we knew. In the end, movies gave them immortality, but their real lives were far more complicated than the scripts.